Good afternoon, you guys. Nice to see some of you guys here. We're gonna get everything rocking and rolling, Hans. I love the PFP, bro. Um, Man, Jiraco's came out so good. So, first things first. Obviously, it's been a little while since I've had the opportunity to kind of just go over everything of what we're doing. There's a lot of different aspects as far as like what a team has to do to kind of get things in motion, keep things in motion. So myself, what I've been set to do from Jamie is basically focus on community development. So there are obviously conversations that I think we've had maybe in Sama Chat or maybe in the layer as far as like what's being worked on. Jamie spoke about it. I spoke about it in the last AMA as well. As far as just having short-term goals and long-term goals, and you know delegating the proper people to focus on certain things to achieve those goals overall for the community. So my focus is mainly community development, and I think for the past couple years, there has been a knocking on the door regarding this and focused on building from within, so to speak. I know we have a lot of holders that joined in, post Jirasan collection. Um, and we have a lot of OGs that are still around from PG days, right? So there's always been two or three different type of holders that we have within our community, and I think most of us recognize that, and appreciate that, and I think we've been able to thrive through some of our peaks because of that. I give a lot of credit to obviously our Maxis system that we had working for a while, and we were able to maintain a certain floor, and we were able to use Maxi's platform to handle basically like live bids. So we were able to generate liquidity and spread it within the community, different avenues, and it's something that we were focused on with Jirasan. Many of you, if you know, if you don't know, it was the one of the three factions and one of the three DAOs that PG created with PG Fusion Collection. So, community development has always been something that I've been focused on, and something that I think is very important for any community that expects to, get through uh, times where there's nothing really to brag about or to boast about. And it also creates a way stronger core. I think we're able to see that with some of the communities that are still thriving currently, right? Or teams that have kind of uh, hit their stride to go back towards their peak as a group. And I think for us going forward, I think the main thing is to have a system in place that allows people to kind of choose how much they want to be interactive, how much they want to support, and kind of feel out what you think is important from yourself as a community member. And obviously, you need a strong, supportive community to push any vision that you have as a team. So you guys are obviously the most important thing. We have set forth drip which many of you guys are familiar with through various communities. I think at this point, I think it's 2 million users plus that have access to Drip now, and it's a platform that was introduced to me back in 2023 by Chilltown, which was actually our CTO for Sentinel DAO. Shout out Chilltown. He introduced Tolly to us, and Tolly was and currently still is a Jira holder. So he's a builder from within the community that introduced a product that alleviated uh, a lot of obstacles that we had. So that we had to deal with trying to grow a sub community within PG. Right, our goal was to always be self sufficient in funding, and having the right amount of money to build or just to have access to things runs out very quickly, and sometimes you don't have it, and voila, you meet people like Tolly, right? And somebody who is a good builder, very good leader in Web3, who trusts that you won't just run with his idea and become a competitor, and allow his community to utilize and leverage what he's built. And 2 years down the road, we've been using drip in Jirasan, close to 2 years, I think, at this point, if not two and a half. And it's something that we're bringing to Jirasan. So I think on that note, I'm very happy that we're utilizing our builders within the community, and utilizing things that we're building on chain, and that we're not just on chain, but things that we're building in Web3, I should say. So this is a milestone that I'm very happy that I've been able to bridge for Jira, because this is something that we've harped on for a long time. So Drip is a platform that it does allow you to reward your community, as such, right? Obviously, engagement on things we might want to market to the audience, to a larger audience, is a main thing on that. But there's also other things that you're able to do to also be rewarded, right? Obviously, supporting teams, supporting members within the community. You're able to play games, and we're actually working on. We have about two or three mini games that Bullish has been building. Actually, I might actually drop the links for you guys, so you guys can actually just test them out and give some feedback. Actually, I will do that. I think I'm gonna drop that in the announcement for the TLDR. So I'll drop a couple links that you guys can, test out and give some feedback for. But we're able to implement Drip into games that we build, basically, and where you can use your rice bowls and your points. We could also input other currency if we really wanted to. I don't think that's a thought at the moment. Maybe RDAC tokens would be implemented at some point for one of these games, but at the moment that's not the case. So with Drip, we're able to utilize our system, in different ways, right? And we want to make sure that we're creating an environment that uh, kind of fosters, participation as a good thing. Like I said earlier, we have um, different type of holders, and we have different interests for from certain people, and expectations. um and I'm okay with that, and I think this system that we're putting forward is going to allow people to evaluate how many jurors they want to hold, what they feel is valuable to get access to within the server. And I know some people have commented or DM me and maybe don't agree, or maybe think that, hey, we should probably keep access how it's always been, etc. But things have to get shaken up, and I'm okay being the guy that does that and seeing kind of what we can do from this type of change. So one of the main things is knowing what traits you're going to want to pay attention to, right? And as we implement this system, everything is revolved really around the Sama rule. So Sama is going to obviously has always been our top tier role within the server, and it's obviously a group that we're going to be focusing on as far as opportunity base, and as far as rewarding base. Sama is number one. So that's the role that I encourage everybody to you know figure out how to obtain, and that's the group that will be rewarded the most throughout this process. It's not the only group, because we also have a new role that we implemented here, which some of you guys might check your roles, and you might see that you have the Jirasan role, which means that you are vaulted, meaning that you have Jirasans locked away in a community vault that is handled by Visca and myself. So some of you guys currently were implemented with that shortly before we started the AMA. And this is also another milestone that has been, I think, something that we've been trying to achieve for a long time. And I'm very proud on this too. So, as I said, community development, there's larger milestones we want to hit, but there's also little steps to get there. And I'm somebody that enjoys that process. So having Jurasent role recognized now is something that I can handle, I can control. So appreciate you guys for showing the support for the past few years. You guys will also get access to certain things. There is an option for people to vault. So I just want to say that now before I start to go over some of the traits that you guys are going to want to pay attention to. But there is a vaulted row that we will open up. We will utilize the same vault that we currently have now for Jirasan. And that role you will actually be earning, the 372 rice bowls that you need per month to purchase that role, which lasts 30 days, which is the Jirasan role, aka vaulted role. Um, that is an option. And to those of you guys who are listening out now, or to those of you guys who are listening at a later time, if you guys have questions on that, feel free to tag me. But that will be an option as well. One thing that having vaulted, having this option has done for us, like for Sentinels, was just create a way tighter bond, and a way tighter trust, bridge, I want to say. I think we went through both peaks, when we tapped point 0.9 or whatever, almost underneath at one point, twice, and I think out of the 49 people, or 49 that we had at max, maybe 4 or 5 people had to remove theirs. And one of them, which I know he regrets, was to gamble it a little bit in meme tokens, which did not go well. Um, a couple other ones were just, pure financial, needed some funds, and that was what they had that held some value. So they actually all still are. They come around once in a while to check in, as most of our vaulted members do. We have, I want to say, 34 vaulted members. We have, obviously, Coin Kong was that first big push, vaulting 10, and we have just a tight knit, like, subgroup, and I want us to get that way with Jirasan community as a whole, because at the end of the day we have, and I know floor price doesn't reflect this, but we have one of the strongest communities. And I think for a little bit, because we've been embarrassed with how things have just played out, right? It's a little bit tough uh, to show that pride. So I'm hoping that with these changes, we'll be a little bit more competitive and eager to participate. We'll be a little bit more motivated to build stronger relationships, and we can figure out as a group and as a community how to, one, positively impact our sentiment here, which will reflect in floor price, um, at a later time, once we can see that kind of flywheel take effect. So, um, yeah, I'm excited to be at this point, and I'm going to go over um, the trait and the token breakdown now, just to give you guys an understanding of what you might want to grab off the floor currently, or what traits you might want to pay attention to. So, and like I said, if you guys have any questions or comments, or you can't hear me, whatever the case is, just comment on the bottom. All right, so first thing, we wanted to do a individual per NFT drop originally, right? So this is what took me a couple weeks, because I had to like rethink how to do it, because drip system, a lot of things that I have to implement are manual input. So I would have to like go through 8,000 NFT numbers to reward the way that I originally planned, the commons, and then I'd have to go through through the 1,300 mechas, and I have to input like the numbers manually. So I was like, all right, that's not going to work, and I don't think that this is going to be an efficient process. So for a couple weeks, I revamped some stuff here. So what we did was, first we wanted to reward 3 certain roles, and Jiraco, obviously being our legendary pieces, right? All one of ones, being a collector's piece pretty much, which all came out phenomenal for the most part. Um, they got obviously the highest roll. It's the rarest trait, right? Second, we went to Cosmic. Cosmic are the pieces in the collection that are attached or have a one-to-one for the PG Gen 1 collection. So we actually have 323 Cosmics in the collection. I believe 10 of them were 10 of that row, I think, were legendaries or something like that, if I can remember correctly. But they got the second tier as far as the one-time roll claim. And then we had Mecha, right? Because Mecha was the 3-to-1 ratio, or the 2-to-1 ratio. Yeah, when we merge. So, and then we have commons. Your commons all earn um, one rice bowl a day. So just keep that in mind. But these three roles within our server will have a opportunity to claim rice bowls for their role, right? Separate of that, you have our daily yield amounts for these three traits, right? So each trait will earn a separate amount of rice bowls per day. Jiraco being obviously the number one trait that earns, or the rarest trait that earns the most rice bowls per day. Um, so those who paid a little bit more, a lot more to get them, you know, or bought them within bids back in the old days when the legendaries for our original collection were out, will be rewarded more on the rice bowls per day because of that trait. Cosmics will be tier 2 for what they earn for their rice bowls, and then Mechas tier 3. Again, commons all earn one a day, but these other three traits earn different amounts, right? And the vaulted roll, like I said, will earn you uh, the amount of rice bowls that you need. We're gonna go with 2 vaulted NFTs. It could be whatever trait, but you would just need 2. So if you only have one Jiraco and one common, we're going to tell you to, pick one off the ground and then put in 2 commons or whatever the case is, or put your 2 and pick one off the ground. It doesn't matter. So the total yield for the Jirasan roll that can be purchased as a roll using your rice will be 372. And we got that because we based Jiraco's earnings off of a 31-day accumulative. So 31 days for what Jiraco gets is 1 month of rice bowls. That is the monthly amount of points that you will have to accumulate to purchase the Jirasan roll if you don't want to vault, or if you weren't grandfathered in. Commons, you can do 12 commons. So if you're somebody who's like, oh man, how do I maximize the system? I've got 3 Jirasans. What should I do? Obviously there's a few mechas on the floor, but you can probably just grab yourself the additional, 12 commons to get to where you need to. Mechas, you would need 6 mechas to hit the 372 mark. Cosmics, you would need 2, and then the Draco, you just need 1, like I said. So our system is going to be based around those 3 traits and those 3 roles. Actually, I should say 4 roles for the 0% role, but here's where it differs when it comes to why Cosmic still is top tier role, right? Because everything you've heard as far as like daily yield amount or your one-time claim for the role all has Duraco at top. These traits were all talked about just being art for art, and Cosmic being our quote unquote our Gen 1 trait is what's going to have full access to the full system, right? So to Alpha, to our raffles for whitelist, to NFTs, store items, early access to certain products. Obviously, we have the loot bot that we have access to, a meme maker that we're working on, currently waiting on creating some art for some meme style creations that you guys will be able to use for your NFTs. And then also, they're going to have basically free rights to use for any of the games and things that they want to use to compete or to gamble with. So Cosmic will have that, and the Jirasan role will have access to it. Now, again, you have to earn that Jirasan role. So Cosmic is still top tier as far as that sense. But you do have other options, right? So if you don't want to buy 12 commons, or you don't want to accumulate that much, you can, you got 6 Jirasans, whatever, you can vault to. And you'll earn that rice once a month, which will be airdropped to you guys for holding that role. So on that note, um, I think this system, it does two things for us, right? Like the purpose is to basically design and implement, a sustainable community flywheel, basically, right? That um, rewards participation, rewards yeah, participation, and kind of reinforces like our long-term alignment. Um, and it doesn't eliminate, but it helps us kind of get away from the short-term speculation by just giving us a system that is based, it's value based on contribution, basically, right? So um, it's worked. It's worked. It's a system that I've worked with Jirasan. So um, I think it's something that will benefit us as a community here, right? I think some of the main challenges that we see with Web3 communities, right, is that you can only incentivize X amount for so long, right? It turns out to be short term, right? So um you have a problem where people don't feel the need to engage and participate and give back to the community, right? And then you also have like what we seen when the snapshot was taken, right? We knew that we shouldn't be taking um the ETH offers on these Gen 1s, and we've seen a like rapid fire claim for those bids that those people that took those bids knew that they were just taking the money and that those people weren't going to be rewarded for that bid. Granted, it is your decision to do what you want, but that value extraction without that reinvestment, is a common challenge that many communities have to deal with within Web3. So I think we're tackling that with this system, right? And I think as time goes on, people will realize that, right? Like we had a concept with Jira X back in the day, and um slash we had a concept with Jira X back in the day with what we wanted it to be, right? And if you guys I'll drop it into the layer, but if you guys listen to the interviews that we did when we were running for certain roles for the factions, I had a vision, 2 years ago with that, and I think we can get there now with the tech that has come out, which we're seeing with a lot of these projects, right, where they have these strategy tokens and stuff like that. And tie that in with how we do things. But before we try anything like that as a group, this is kind of like that soft push to see if our team can create that value um, that encourages this process to work, right? Because if you guys don't see any value in what we're doing, right? Like if you don't think our alpha callers are good, if you don't think there's any good intel that you guys want to pay attention to within the market, if you guys don't feel that we're giving out proper rewards or that we're not rewarding the community at all using these tokens, like there's not going to be any purpose for you to want to stay engaged with the community and and spend more time with us and just build better relationships. So that part's on us, and that challenge I'm taking head on. So um how our core concept, I'll kind of go over this. I'm going to drop a couple images and a couple graphics for you guys like in a TLDR just to make it a little bit easier on me. And I'll do that after I finish up with this space. But the system is to basically, it basically controls, so like what I typed up, it controls how value, access, and recognition are harnessed within the ecosystem, right? Which is what I was explaining earlier. Value is earned gradually rather than given all at once. So we're kind of stepping away from that instant gratification feed that I think a lot of Web3 teams get stuck on. Um, and rewards are distributed in a way that prioritizes consistency, right? So this approach helps to avoid burnout with our community members and also like entitlement, right? So like you got to kind of work for what you got, and when you do that, uh, people have to respect it more, right? Because you can't knock somebody that's working hard to earn XYZ. And it eliminates that conversation of, hey, we were here first, blah, blah, blah. Everything's at zero. So everything starts off fresh. You pick how you want to move about, what's valuable to you. Maybe just having the layer is valuable enough to you. I don't know, um, that's for you guys to decide. But um, it fosters durability and good community environment. So the rice bowls basically represent earned value, right? Through participation, effort, um, and you can earn them via quest. You can earn them helping, maybe collaborating, um, and just being consistent. It's they're going to be used to access roles, like I said, opportunities that come up, and whatever future upside comes, we'll be distributing through that process. So these tokens really aren't treated as a handout, but they're kind of like your proof of contribution, right? So you only fill your bowl by showing up and building. So that's the method that we're gonna lean on. We have like different things that we're gonna do for like community events and stuff like that. And some of them are going to be based upon the games that we're building. Um, so you'll see some of that. I'm gonna drop, like I said, I'm gonna drop these links in the chat and the announcement when I write up the TLDR a little bit later. But um, that is like that's the direction that we're heading. Somebody had asked the other day, like, man, I would rather us get the alpha channels back because it's a big part of like Jirasan, and it's one of the only reasons they probably come in and etc. And I get that, I respect that. Um, but I think we've done so much over the years, and where we've fallen short is on both sides, right? From team to community or people that they were bringing aboard, um, not setting up the proper finances to hire and bring on people that um, earn their money. And on the flip side, we relied on the team, to push us all the time, and um, very demanding as a community from the team, with little, um, accountability on our end. And I say that because I've been on both sides, right? Like I've been. It's just funny how Web3, how a title will change how people that you maybe have worked with for like a year, et cetera, 2 years, might view you, right? So like once I became team or had that title or that role, um, expectations changed a little bit. I am very thankful for the relationships, you know, for the most part, are all very fruitful. People give me their honest opinion, trust me with their perspective. They trust to just be honest, about things that they think. They hit me up when they're happy. I get some DMs when they're upset and they have to vent. Um, but those things are all beneficial, And yeah, I think with these changes, I think we tackle we tackle a few issues that we've come across as a team and that we fell short. Previous team, current team, whatever, all one team in my head. Um, and I think we're a little bit behind on this. I think we see communities, I'm not even going to base off of floor price. I'm just going to say, right, like we have Hans was here earlier. So we had GU, right, which was a community that was a free mint, that had really no founder. The artist was um, wasn't known, and it was a project that still to this day is still around, like based off of community effort and vision, you know. Um, and then we have other teams like Chimpers, right? Which have gone through their peaks and their valleys, and they've been able to sustain a very positive community sentiment because they've always been focused on that, and at some point are even doing better than teams with higher floor prices than them. So um, I hear all the time, like people aren't interested in anything that doesn't make them money, and I don't agree with that. I really don't, because I think a lot of us that are still here have either learned the hard way, right? Or understand that they've taken losses, etc. And they're here really because we've all been through it, right? So there's a certain bond that we all carry, um, good and bad, right? And I think culture and what we've represented from day one, as at least the pillars that we've stood on, are really what keeps that hope alive. Being transparent, being accountable, um, being strong as a group, and taking our opportunities, not just relying on opportunities. I think for things that we did very well at the beginning, and then we got very off track because it's very tough to um, build and maintain a community here. So in Web3 in general, because it's different than like propping up a storefront, uh, and yeah, it's just different than doing a Web2 business, right? So you have other things that you have to continuously do. So the team has to focus on building, a runway, maintaining a runway, maintaining a team, driving in revenue is their biggest thing, but also building a culture that is sustainable and strong enough to grow and to support. So that's where we're at as a community. That's why these changes are being made. Um, yeah, that's it. So Bucus asks if you have a Jirasan role, Cosmic would only add 6 bowls per day. We will have same access to Alpha. Um, so so Cosmic doesn't have to spend anything to get access to everything. That's the difference, because you can have the Jurasent roll, but you have to purchase that roll with the rice. So it's like an even swap. So then to enter raffles, or to for whitelist or whatever, or to enter into store items, to enter into, maybe you want to compete in one of the games and you don't got no rights to spend, like to do everything else, use the meme maker, blah blah blah. Like, you'll have to have rights to have access to that. So, and to use some of those things. So, or to purchase some of those things. So that's the difference, right? Like the rights that Cosmic earns, it's like they're gonna use it on stuff that they want to input on. The rice that Jurasent roll will earn is to purchase that roll, because you're gonna earn that 372. That's why you need two. It's 186 a piece. But the requirement now for those that are not grandfathered in, if you were with Jurasent, you were required to vote one. But anybody that now wants to purchase for Jirasans will have to vote two. Obviously, this is like taking some off the floor, right? Like hopefully, some people that want to vote so that they can earn the access to this, right? Maybe there's some of those guys that, or some of those girls that have some listed, right? So the goal for that is also to hopefully, um, encourage people to delist as well. So, oh, also, most important, I forgot. If you're listed, you don't earn any points. I forgot to mention that. Um, so yeah, there's that too, right? So if you're listed, you don't earn any points. You can have a Jiraco if it's listed, you ain't earning nothing. So, and Jiraco, like I said, Jiraco too, they have to earn. Um, they have to purchase that role. and that roll will last every 30 days. You'll have to basically spend another 372 rice bowls. So, um, yes, you will have all the access to the alpha, to the whitelist opportunities, etc. You'll have full access with the access pass that you'll purchase for that Jirasan roll by vaulting. Yes. Can we cut down supply? You know what's crazy, crypto, is that so we were supposed to do the Jira thing, but I learned I must have missed it in that last meeting we had because I was at work and kind of cutting in and out. But I guess Jamie also is wants to do that, so I think we're holding off on Jira which is technically because it's a cut down on supply, so like they won't ever see the light of day. So that I don't know if that's like 100%. I don't know if he's committed to that 100% or if that was just like a hey, I think we're gonna go in this direction instead of just finishing the art and stuff like that to cut down supply a little bit. But yeah, that was actually a combo this week too. So um, the goal for the vaulting rewarding people the amount that they need to get access to that is not to in a sense to cut down supply, but to limit what's out in the open. So hopefully less are delisted, price goes up. But that's also why, and I'm glad that this reminded me that that's also why we aren't earning points if we're listed. So, going forward, basically, like you're going to be able to pick and choose what you think is valuable at this point. So, the goal for us now is to deliver value or to give reason to you guys wanting to purchase that role, right? So, with that being said, I will say the conversation has come up with the team. Definitely going to be looking to add some alpha callers to spice up some things in here. So, that and the last thing too before I end the space. So we'll be looking to add some callers, um, and not just regarding like one thing, but in a whole in general for Web3, some intel callers, and we'll also be looking to add like other services. So currently, Jirasan vaulted members get free access to a whitelist minting bot that was created by one of our members. So little things like that, I'll be looking to add to the Sama role, and then give opportunity to people to purchase those things within um, our store and our raffle items using rice bowls. So that's how we plan to try and tackle that. All right. So if there are no questions, um, concerns, I hope that this kind of answers most of the curiosity that's probably like wondering how we're doing it. Um, I am going to reset the system this week, so everybody will have 0 points. So please don't claim anything if you can see the full drip. Some of you I don't think can, but everything's gonna go to zero, and I think we actually updated because Alwyn and I were messing with the system, and I think it was easier for him at this point last week to cut off everything for holders who don't have these other specific roles. For Sama, basically everybody else should only be able to see layer and like a couple other things, but I don't think they can see alpha at this point. So on that note, I appreciate you guys taking the time to come out to listen. I think this is pretty straightforward. The TLDR, we'll have a little bit of info on there, and I'll drop a couple infographics with the chart for the Rice Bowl earnings. But if there's any other questions, you guys just literally ask. Remember on Monday, Jamie is going to be doing the building in public AMA. It was supposed to happen yesterday, but we had to change the date because Ryu needed to change it to Monday. I'm not exactly sure what the purpose or what the reason was, but that time wasn't working. So remember, Monday we will have that event. On Monday, I am going to put out a quest that I think most of you guys will be able to see that are connected um, to test out to see if the system allows us to reward people who participate um, in community events in Discord. So the drip system is able to do that. I just have to go through it and kind of run a test to see how it does it. If it's accurate with the requirements that we'll make. So most AMAs that we'll have going forward, you'll be able to earn rice. Um, and basically you'd have to be in for like a certain time limit, right? So that does one of two things. Some of us don't show up because we're like, we got other shit to do. Maybe this encourages people to at least be a shell in their body, earn some points, which also will look good when we're looking to partner with other teams, or we're looking to get access to different services, et cetera, in the future, because it also shows participation, right? And um, the more eyes, the better. So, with that being said, I hope everybody has a good rest of the night. Um, for this one, no, but but I did say the ones going forward, once we reset and we activate everything, um, they will be like that. So yes, but I do appreciate you guys pulling up right now. You guys got it. You guys have the intel first, so do what you want with that. If you guys are planning on vaulting, just open up a ticket, and we'll give you the, I'll give you the information and where you got to send the NFTs if you guys just want to be set up from day one, pretty much. So, on that note, enjoy the rest of the day, and for those of you guys celebrating, obviously Christmas coming up for us, for some of us, I hope you guys are enjoying the holidays. You as well, crypto. Enjoy the rest of the night, you guys. Ciao.